Okay, it's 7:30 on Tuesday, May 25th. I'd like to call the City of Twinsburg Council meeting to order. We're in the Government Center. Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Scafidi?
Here.
Mrs. Stauffer?
Here.
Mr. Barr?
Here.
Mr. Fury?
Here.
Mrs. Walker?
Present.
Mr. Bellin? Ms. McPherron?
Okay, thank you. Next, we'll have the invocation and the pledge, and then that will be led by Mrs. Stauffer this evening.
Father, we seek your guidance for the business that is before us. In planning for the future of the city of Twinsburg, give us vision. Guide us to make decisions that are not self-serving, but for the betterment of our community, so we can continue to move in a positive direction. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next we will have the approval of the minutes from the regular meeting of May 11th. If everybody's had a chance to read them, can I get a motion to approve?
Make a motion that the minutes are accepted as submitted.
Mr. Fury, is there a second?
I second.
Mrs. Walker. Any questions, any concerns here? Shannon, call the roll, please.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Stauffer?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes. Okay, any words or presentations?
There are none.
Okay. Shannon, do we have audience participation?
We do. First, we have Sue Clark.
I want to remind everybody of our 5-minute rule in person. Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Council. Sue Clark, 9845 Crestwood Drive. A year and a half ago, my personal information was used in a council meeting by a council member to intimidate, discriminate, and bully me. At the time, I left it up to this council to come up with written procedures so this would not happen to another resident. I would like to read from my original complaint what I asked for. I would like for council to come up with disciplinary actions, warnings, and what corrective action will be taken after a third warning. I would like for these to be kept at City Hall in a personnel file. At the May 11th meeting, this same councilman used a resident's Facebook post with their picture and their name without blacking it out to intimidate, discriminate, and bully a resident. This was once again a premeditated attack on a resident. I want to know what council is going to do about this council member. Obviously, he did not learn anything from the first incident. We need procedures, please.
Thank you, Mrs. Clark.
Next, we have Sheila Williams.
Hello, everyone. I had to rush to get here. I want to talk about the health department. You know, we had a pop-up, and I went up there. I think we had between 50 and 55 residents. We did have all 3 doses available, so people had a choice if they wanted the Moderna, the Pfizer, or the J&J. And most people wanted the J&J, and we know why one and done. And they felt it was a good day. I thank them on the behalf of the city of Twinsburg for giving us the pop-up that they gave. We did have extra dosage, so we sent that over to Maplewood. And I think that's gonna kick our numbers up to maybe about 60 or a bit more, I'm not sure. We're gonna have a meeting, I think about 2 weeks. Anyway, so I wanted to make sure that you all were aware of that it was successful, and they're doing pop-ups all around the county. I'm going to talk about the CDC's recommendations that everybody can leave their mask alone and on and on and on June 2nd, 3rd, I think it is. Everything will be open. I'm not quite sure what the date is. I would still encourage people to be cautious and to pay attention. If you go to a Walmart's on a Saturday, as an example, and there's a zillion people in there, if you have a mask in your pocket, I would encourage you to take your mask and put it on, only because you don't know who has really been vaccinated and who hasn't. So to protect yourself, I've told my son, who has not been able to get his done yet, that he can't come to my house after June 1st unless he can show me a CDC card. because it's not for him, it's for me. And so as we're moving forward into the summer with Rock the Park and all of our events, I got a newsletter that the Senior Center's open and we're going to be doing some things, and I'm excited about that. I would encourage everyone to proceed with some caution. Enjoy yourself. It is a wonderful time in the neighborhood to be able to get out now and enjoy friends and family more and do some things. And I know that the residents of Twinsburg, we've all been locked down. Me and Ms. Clark were just talking about it. And everyone is looking to do a lot. Proceed and enjoy yourself, but please use some common sense in it also. And it's a personal choice whether you get a shot or not, but as a health department representative, I'm saying that if you haven't gotten one and someone's listening, there's a million places to get something now. And enjoy your summer. And then I want to say to you all, thank you that we have gotten through this last year. It just seems like, oof. And as we're moving forward, may we all enjoy and appreciate this wonderful community, even with our flaws, because we will always fight and we will always have disagreements, and I'm not always nice, but we all still stand together as Twinsburg residents. Thanks much, that's all I want.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sheila.
Next, we have Bruce Baldwin. Yep.
Yes, good evening, Council. Bruce R. Baldwin, 3310 Cannon Road. I would like to have you bring this into thought. It's kind of a different, it's something that means a lot to me, and I hope it means a lot to other people. The first topic I wish Council would give some thought is to the Triangle property at Route 14 and 82, the old Shell Station, gun store, and now closed glass shop. Could this lot be purchased for memorial to Twinsburg's first fire department till now, first police department, constables to 1955, and the history of the porch light on Route 82? And let's not forget our veterans. And by the way, how many veterans on council? I know you. Second, I believe the city is very good about leaving property owners having lawns not cut until 8 inches. Who is in charge of getting lawns cut over 8 inches, and why is it not being done? Thank you, Council. Take care of yourself and each other. Good night. Have a good holiday weekend. Be safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all we have this evening.
All right, great. Thank you. Okay, we have council communication and committee reports. Anybody want to respond to any of that? I just want to say one thing. I think, I don't think our grass ordinance says 8 inches. I think it's less than that, isn't it? Do we know?
I believe it's less than that, but they've been trying to keep up on that.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay. We'll make sure we look at that. Okay, communication and committee reports. Mrs. Stoffer.
Okay, two of my committees met. I attended the Finance Committee tonight. On May 20th, the ARB met. There were 3 cases on the agenda. Case 210546, 9749 Ravenna Road, a metal roof alteration that was approved as submitted. Case 210547 is 8124 Darrow Road. New Adventures Daycare sign was also approved as submitted. And case 210548, 9649 Chamberlain Road, a new residential construction, was approved as noted. A couple of notes just being, add some windows and some steps. I also attended the Special Committee for Justice, Equity, and Diversity and Inclusion, the Justice and Police Relations Subcommittee last night here in council chambers. We discussed policy, the community relations, portable audio video recorders, and crisis intervention. We will meet again on June 14th at 6 p.m. and that'll be a full committee meeting. That is all I have for tonight.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Fury.
Thank you, and good evening. I attended the CIC meeting on May 23rd, where we had, pardon me?
I attended that too. That's why
She was there. I saw her.
Sorry. Yeah,
She was there.
that committee. Yep.
On May 23rd, where the CIC interviewed 2 different prospective developers for the downtown area. which would be where the old school used to be and the surrounding properties. So we're in the process of working through who we would select in the near future. So it's exciting. We've been working on that for a long time, and started with Mayor Prokop, and again, we're making a lot of progress on that. I will attend the comprehensive plan meeting on May 27th, which is Thursday at 6 p.m. I attended the finance meeting this evening, but I was a few minutes late. There's a golf outing for the Josh McTerrian Scholarship Fund. It is held July 16th at Glen Eagles. The registration is 8 a.m. This is an event that usually sells out. Brian Donato runs this. He was on our force and a friend of Josh's. And if you need to get information or tickets, his phone number is 216-224-4308, or you can email bdonato, BDONOTO, at twinsburg.oh.us. Oh. All right, the number 2 issue that was brought up in the surveys of over 1,000 residents of Twinsburg was false and incorrect information that gets pushed around the city, primarily with the roundtable. Roundtable has a tendency to block people and edit comments, so information gets put up there and becomes fact, even though it's inaccurate. So this is a post that somebody sent to me the other day because I don't have access to it. We have a gentleman that says that the city does not post some of the financial reports to the city website, and they have eliminated the majority of the historical data. They do not, further down, it talks about how this is a citizen auditor who is concerned that we've budgeted $660,000 for 3 full-time, highly paid IT professionals, and that this is a waste of money. So we would like to address that. So first we're going to show you how to review the financial information on mytwinsburg.com. And we have 12 years of financial information available on this website. In fact, all the financial information that council people get on a monthly basis is available on our website. Oops. Okay. So we just come from mytwinsburg.com. Monthly financial reports, that's the same thing that the city council gets. Gives you a statement of cash, gives you a revenue report, gives you a who we paid money to. You know. Again, you can get any financial information that you need back almost 12 years. And if you wanted to go back further than 12 years, you can simply request it from the finance department. Okay. Ready, Mark? Okay. So then another resident came back and said 3 full-time employees with $660,000 budget to maintain a website that no longer offers the convenience of viewing legislation and ordinances and minutes. So we're going to show you how to review the minutes, the ordinances, the agendas that's there. So again, Mark's going to My Government. He's going to the bottom of the page, the Document Center. You can pick any committee, council. Again, as soon as the minutes are approved by, for instance, we do not put unapproved minutes on there. But I was looking at Planning Commission meeting minutes from 2 years ago, found them instantaneously. I mean, it's just incorrect that we don't post all of that information on our website. Agenda and minutes. If you go up in the upper left corner, upper right corner, you can also just select if you wanted just the ARB or the Planning Commission, Parks and Rec, or anybody. So that's where that's at. Okay, so let's talk about what's actually involved with our IT department and show you, what they do. So this is, we have 3 people in that department. One has been there for 20 years. One has been there for 17 years. And one is part-time for several years, and now we brought him on full-time 3 years ago. So these 3 guys deal with over 300 end users. So if you look at a fire or our police cruisers, there's 2 radios and a laptop that have to be linked in no matter where they're at within the city. We have 3 bands of radio that needs to be operated to maintain with the fire department at all times in case of emergencies. There is just about everybody. We have 13 buildings that are 14 buildings, excuse me, that are fiber optically linked. So we have, again, over 300 end users with laptops and software issues. System integration and planning. Every time there's new software, and we've implemented new software in the finance department, we've implemented new software in the building department. We've been using Cartograph, which brought in about 10 years ago, that we maintain, which gives us work records of everything that's done in the, as well as maintains our fleet of cars. We have 171 desktops. We have 14 servers. There's just a huge amount of work that these guys do. Network administration. They've got to run the backups and the offsite storage to make sure that we have all the information back 12 years on our website. Connectivity. I mean, I don't know about you, but my printer to the desktop goes down about once a month, and it takes me a half hour to fix. They have 80 printers throughout the city. So there's a lot of work that they do. And, again, they're talking about the additional city communications that are put out. We have websites for multiple departments. We push emails. We send newsletters out. If there's something that happens, you'll get an email as well as a text, as well as a voicemail. Again, and then we do web design as well to make it easier to use all these alternate websites that are within the city. And how much do we pay for that? Okay, back. Okay. I'm missing a slide here.
Click it again.
What's that?
Click it again.
Okay.
There you go.
That's what you want, right?
Yep. So this year's budget for the IT department, the actual salaries and wages for 3 full-time employees. Remember, we're talking guys that have been here for 20 and 17 years. We at one point did use consultants in addition to some some full-time employees, and we spent almost double than that. And I can't imagine what it would cost today to get a bid for somebody, an outside group to run our city. These guys do a phenomenal job. The overall budget, though, is $574,000. That includes all the equipment, so the miscellaneous contractual stuff. That's the software licenses and things we have to do. You've got the communications. That includes radios and equipment that needs replaced. Radios and cell phones and things break. So the majority of this fund is actually in equipment and the tools that the department needs to run forward. All right, so this is last year's fund, and actually what they used in the entire year. So last year, They used $537,000 that high year. That's exactly what that were budgeted, and that's pretty much what they spent. So I guess my point is that our citizen auditor and another individual are saying that we're wasting money with $660,000 when that's just blatantly false information, and it was easily, readily available right off our website. So I looked at ethics and conduct of an auditor. And it talks about, that you have principles that, and a code of conduct that, although the rules of governing bodies are different, there are some absolutes. And it says an auditor, you must be totally objective. It must be without ties or relationships to the client, since could potentially impair your judgment and impair the overall course of an audit work. And I would tell you that, in my opinion, if you're $660,000 quoted, and I can prove that it's $537,000 and it includes all the equipment, I don't think that that's really a very good job of auditing. I think at this point we're looking more at an activist than an auditor. And we'll continue to cover these every week as people post and send things to us that are blatantly false financial information that affect the city of the Twinsburg, because we're no longer going to just sit here and allow false information to be put out without challenging it. Thank you. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Fury. Next, Mr. Barr.
I have a quick report. Planning Commission met May 17th here in council chambers. There was one item for discussion. There was a lot split at 3231 Simichet Drive. I believe that passed. Planning Commission also received a copy of the Ordinance 39/2021, and that's the ordinance establishing the moratorium on the moratorium on occupancy permits or buildings for medical marijuana. So they are going to discuss that and debate the merits of that at the next Planning Commission meeting, which will be June 21st at 7 p.m. here in council chambers. That's all I've got. I am looking forward to Rock the Park on June 11th.
Hey.
I think everybody is. Thank you.
Yes.
Absolutely, be good to get outside.
Mrs. Walker.
Good evening, everyone. My committees have not met. However, I did attend the JEDI Subcommittee, Police Subcommittee, and Justice yesterday. It's a great meeting. And I also attended the Finance Committee right before caucus. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. Okay, my report, Finance Committee did meet this evening earlier at 6 o'clock. We went over a few things there. The Finance Director went over with us to establishing the police and fire levy fund, which is on our agenda tonight. She explained to us how that's going to be split up, 0.7 for police pension and 0.7 for fire pension, and then 1 mil will go to the capital for police and fire. That will be one pot put together specifically for the safety forces for police and fire, and the chiefs and those departments will divvy up how they're going to spend that money. Mayor, you added something earlier at caucus. Did you want to say something about that here?
Regarding the funds being set up?
Yeah, I forgot what you added, but you added something.
Yeah, so I think at caucus we talked about the specific fund that's going to be created as the funds come in from issue 2, that's going into a dedicated fund, and underneath that will be the sub-accounts that break it into pension and both capital. So that's outside of the capital, our typical capital improvement fund, and outside of the general fund.
Okay, thank you. The other item that we discussed was the American Rescue Plan guidance, and the Finance Director went over with us. She had a nice slide presentation for us, and she gave us the guidelines for it and where we're going to be going with it and what we can do with it. She talked about a couple of things. She gave us two sections of it this evening, and we're going to have more conversations afterwards. The eligible uses for responding to COVID-19 and what the eligible uses are for that money, and then premium pay for essential workers. She gave us the definitions and the guidelines of who can use it and how it can be used. And so those were the two areas she covered with us tonight. And again, we'll be having more discussions about that in the near future and at the next Finance Committee meetings. So that was interesting, and it's nice to see how that's moving along and how we're going to best use that money that we're going to receive. Other than that, that was the end of the Finance Committee meeting. The next Finance Committee meeting will be on June 22nd, and the time will be announced at a later date. One thing I do want to mention, in the Glenwood Preserve development, Homeowners Association will be having their development-wide garage sale, and that'll be on June 12th, 11th, 12th, and 10th, 11th, and 12th. So anybody interested in looking for some nice stuff and good bargains, you come over to Glenwood Preserve on those 3 days, and it'll be nice to see all the folks in Glenwood Preserve and see what we've got going on over there. Other than that, that is the end of my report right now. Mayor.
All right. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. A couple things happening the past week or so. I was able to attend Quest Financial's local business in town celebrated their 10-year anniversary. And so I'm just thankful that they invited us to that. I mean, it's always great to celebrate those types of milestones with our local businesses. I want to thank UH. We have a local doctor, Stephanie Gaines, that was able to organize, and she's done this the last couple of years. A group of kids come in and spend some time. These are preschoolers and kindergartners spending some time at our fire station, kind of going through what firemen do on a daily basis, and then she's able to orchestrate one of the med air units to land right outside Station 2. So the kids love it. It was a blast. But I just want to thank her for inviting me to that event. As mentioned earlier, the CIC did interview developers. This went out for an RFP really a year ago, and then it was reposted this past year, and we had 2 responses. So both of those are capable, interested parties that were interviewed by the CIC to start forming what potentially could be some redevelopment in our downtown area. A couple of events coming up. We were able to organize an e-waste recycling event on June 6th from 12 to 4. So that's going to be at our service garage right off of Ravenna Road. And then also on June 12th, the next weekend, we're going to do a shredding day, which will be from 9 to 12. So those are on social media. You can probably find those on our website also. But those are 2 recycling events coming up. And then I also want to mention, so last year we lost Mayor Karabeck, and we've created a memorial for Mayor Karabeck up at Liberty Park. We brought in some of the historic Hudak stones, and we had a resident donate money to do a bronze plaque for Mayor Karabeck up at Liberty Park. So we're going to be dedicating that on June 12th at 9:30 a.m. So I've spoken with TBL and a lot of the activities that will be going on that day. So they're going to hold off starting a lot of their games to do the dedication for the Karabeck Memorial on that particular day. The family's all coming into town. They're excited about it, so we're looking forward to that. And it's going to be open to the public. I do want to congratulate the class of 2021. I know this past week or so they all graduated from high school. This has been a challenging couple years for them, and hopefully they had a nice formal ceremony, and it's a little bit normal, and hopefully they're start off college in the fall with a little better atmosphere than our graduates did from last year. And then I want to invite everyone out. I know the VFW kind of went back and forth, but we are having our Memorial Day Parade. And so I'd like to invite everyone out to it. And so we'll start the parade at 10:30. It'll start at the high school. It'll go down to the square as usual, and then we'll have a ceremony. The VFW is going to lead a ceremony on the square. So I invite everyone out to that. That is all I have this evening, and we have a couple of department head reports. Jen, you want to go?
Good evening.
So Parks and Rec is ready to go for the summer. Got a lot of stuff going on. Water Park is opening on Saturday, and Day Camp and Safety Town are going to start. We have a duathlon And then our biggest right now is Senior Center is going to be opening on June 1st. We are going to do that in a cautious 3-phased approach so that we can get the seniors in, start them getting some social activity going on.
Right.
Fitness center visits are increasing, which is good to see people coming out and getting fitness. We're going to have Jumpstart Sports, calves camps, swim lessons, and everything going on like we would in a normal summer at the fitness center this year. And finally, the Rock the Park concerts are back. June 11th is our first one. It is sold out.
Nice.
We are looking to sell out our second concert here probably by the end of the week. So everybody is ready to get out of the house and get going. So that's all I have for tonight.
You did mention
you.
Brandon was on Channel 3 News tonight. He did a great job.
Did he? Was it already posted?
Yeah, they played
Yeah, he
it.
didn't know that it was already posted.
And he
so.
gave a shout out to Betsy Kling, and she loved it. So yeah,
Okay.
he did. He was very charming with
Yeah,
her.
everybody's
he did a good job.
experiencing the same thing we are. So
Yeah, with the lack of lifeguards right now. Yeah, it's difficult. And that's not only for lifeguards, but employees in general.
Oh, yeah, it's
Everybody's
everywhere.
having a problem. But yeah, he did a great job.
Yeah, and so we did host I didn't mention this in my report, I should have. So Michael orchestrated a job fair today for our seasonal employees. We've had a really challenging time hiring seasonal employees. And so with a little bit of help from the school and some other social media posts, we ended up, Michael was a little late getting over here, and was like 65 kids we interviewed and were able to hire. UH came on site, and so we were able to hire them, get through all the things we needed to get through, and get them on the books to be able to start help. So it was a very good day in Twinsburg for helping fill some of our seasonal spots. So, and, well, do you want to report tonight or next week? All right. Next week. Okay. He's had a long day. I know. He's interviewed kid after kid. So, all right. So, Sarah.
Good evening, council. So income tax revenue collections are up pretty good for the month of May. We collected just under 2.6 million. In comparison to last year, we collected just under 1.7 million. The reason for the big difference is because of the filing deadline. This year, the filing deadline was in May. Last year, the filing deadline was in July. So that'll probably even off. For the year, we have collected 9.9 million, whereas last year we were at 9.7. At Finance Committee, as you discussed, we talked about the levy fund and American Rescue Plan. We're still working on that electronic sewer billing. We're doing our training right now, and we're in our testing phase. So I do hope that we have that to roll out in the fall. When it's ready to go, there'll be all kinds of marketing, and there'll be slips in the bills and everything if people want to take advantage of that. And then our regional income tax agency collections costs came back. So it cost us 1.24% of collections. So Rita is really still doing a very good job, and we're actually going to get a refund from them just above $400,000 back from our retainer that we pay for them to handle our income tax collections. So they continue to do a great job for a very a good benefit to the city. And then over on the IT side, they're out there working at the water park, making sure that all the tech is ready to go for their point of sale systems and their clocks. They are working on the building monitoring for like the fire alarms and the security system and all that stuff. We have a meeting tomorrow with all the departments to see if we can save a little money there. We've got regular newsletters going out, and we are continuing to update the website. And then we've gotten some positive feedback thus far in our leads audit over in the police department. So those guys are staying busy. Thanks.
That's it? Okay.
That's all we have.
That's it, Mayor? Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to legislation. We have Ordinance 41, 2021.
An ordinance accepting the bid of Ely Construction Incorporated for the vehicle storage building roof replacement and declaring an emergency.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and place Ordinance 41, 2021 on its third and final reading and declare it an emergency. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Fury seconds. The reason for this emergency is to be able to start this project as soon as possible. This is a roof in the wastewater treatment plant, and we're looking at a total of $129,640. Jen, any questions? Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Okay, emergency passes. I want to make a motion to adopt ordinance 41, 2021 as an emergency. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Mrs. Stoffer seconds. Any further discussion? Anybody? Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 41, 2021 passes as an emergency, 5-0. Ordinance 42, 2021.
An ordinance accepting the bid of Building Technicians Corporation for the Community Center Building roof replacement and declaring an emergency.
Okay. And at this time, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and place ordinance 42, 2021 on its third and final reading and declare it an emergency. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Fury seconds. The reason for the emergency, again, is to be able to start this project as soon as possible. This is the community center roof, and we're looking at a total of $242,900. Any further discussion? Okay, Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
The emergency passes. Now I'd like to make a motion to adopt 42, 2021 as an emergency. Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Barr seconds. Any more discussion? Hearing none. Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 42, 2021 passes as an emergency, 5-0. Ordinance 43, 2021.
An ordinance establishing a special revenue fund titled Police and Fire Levy Fund to receive and expend revenues generated by the 2.4 mil police and fire levy passed by the electorate on May 4th, 2021, and declaring an emergency.
Okay, I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules and place ordinance 43, 2021 on its third and final reading and declare it an emergency. Can I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Mr. Fury seconds. The reason for the emergency is to get this information to the state and the county in a timely manner. We discussed this both in the caucus and earlier in my report here at council meeting. Anybody have anything further to talk about? No. All right, Shannon, call the roll, please.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. The emergency passes. Now I'd like to make a motion that we adopt ordinance 43, 2021 as an emergency.
I'll second.
Mr. Barr seconds. Any further discussion? Okay, Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Okay. Ordinance 43, 2021 passes as emergency. Ordinance 44, 2021.
An ordinance approving the recodification, editing, and inclusion of certain ordinances and amendments to the charter as part of the various component codes of the codified ordinances of Twinsburg, Ohio.
Okay, and that stands on its first reading. We're going to move on to unfinished new business and miscellaneous. Mrs. Walker, you want to start?
Yes, I have nothing to report, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Barr.
I'd just like to wish everybody a nice Memorial Day weekend.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Stoffer.
I'd like to congratulate the graduates on 2021 also. I'd like to thank Mr. Fury for putting that together. I think it is important that we start making sure the residents have the true information of what's going on. So, and that is all I have.
Okay, Mr. Fury.
I would like to thank our veterans and celebrate them this Memorial Day. And I hope everybody has a blessed and joyous weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. I have one thing. I would like to make a motion that City Council does not oppose to the transfer of a liquor permit from San Pelino LLC and Patio to El Torito Tacos LLC, doing business as El Torito Tacos and Patio, located on Ravenna Road, and authorize the clerk to submit the form to the Ohio Division of Liquor Control. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Fury seconds. Any discussion? Shannon, call the roll, please.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Okay. Then that's all I have under unfinished or miscellaneous. Mayor.
Nothing else for me, thank you.
Mr. Maestros?
Nothing, thank you.
Okay, Mrs. Collins, Shannon?
Nothing, thank you.
I guess that's it. I have one other item of business. I'd like to make a motion that we excuse our two absent members, Mr. Bellin and Mrs. McFerrin.
I
Can have a
second.
Mr. Fury? Okay, any discussion? Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Okay. Then, having no other business, the meeting is adjourned.
Good.